Hello, everyone. We are hugely thrilled to have you here with us today. My name is Sian Leary. I am Head of Communications and Advocacy for the World ME Alliance. I live with ME myself. I have done for over a decade now, and I'm really thrilled to be here with you today. And I'm also really proud and honoured to be part of this community and movement that we are building together.
Nice. And my name is Peter. I'm speaking to you from the Czech Republic, where I co-founded the local patients organization, foundation called Neunavní, which translates into Indefatigable. And yeah, even though I'm not a patient with ME myself, it doesn't, stop me from recognizing the need for change and basically the desperate, need that we all need to bring across the world. And that's ultimately the goal of the Alliance. And I'm very excited to see how quickly it's growing. I think 2 years ago, we had some 11 member organizations. Now we have almost 30. We have 28 member organizations from across the world, across 20 countries. And I feel like every month we have a new joiner. So that's very exciting to see. Thanks to this alliance, we can also see a lot of supporting work being done across the world in different countries. On the other hand, we also see the challenges that our member organizations are facing, which is sometimes, challenging. But we also see that there are a lot of similarities, a lot of sort of common points, and a lot of common obstacles that we can try to basically tackle together and learn from each other. I think, our big goal is to, thanks to the international sort of platform that we have, our goal is to bring the fight to the international bodies like the World Health Organization. And we're hoping to be able to speak on behalf of not just our member organizations, but also the patients that they are representing. So yeah, welcome to today's webinar.
Brilliant. So today we're going to hear from a few of our member organizations who are going to share some of the most powerful and important projects that they have been working on. And we want to use this time to demonstrate that there is a huge community working for people with ME everywhere, that change is happening, albeit too slowly, and we know we need more, we need faster, and we hope to be part of creating that. And yeah, to share what we get to see in our World ME Alliance meetings and the kind of hope that that brings. So we also want to draw your attention today to our call to action. We need your help to reach officials who work with the World Health Organization in your country. So we've got guides available on our website if you go to worldmeday.org, and they're available for each country in the world with a template email that's got information specific to your country so that you can become a global voice for ME. And that's our theme this year. We are building a global voice for ME. So please do take a look at our website. That's worldmeday.org to find out how you can get involved. Let's pan back to
Beautiful. Well, from me and Sian, we'll be sort of navigating you, and we'll be walking you through today's webinar. But we also have a lot of lovely speakers from different parts of the world. We have people from South Africa. We have a lot of people from Europe. We also have the US. The UK, still part of Europe. But yeah, we have a lot of prepared for you. So stay tuned. But first, a speaker is Ellen from Millions Missing France. So welcome, Ellen. She'll be talking a bit about the legal and moral support they are trying to provide to the families with children that are suffering with ME. So, Ellen, bonjour, and it's yours.
Thank you very much, and hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here representing Millions Missing France and to take part in this Bridging Borders event. So indeed, today we want to focus on pediatric myalgic encephalomyelitis and highlight medical and institutional abuses on children and young people suffering from ME in France. So in France, there are still no official guidelines related to ME and neither medical training. The chronic fatigue syndrome is still taught as a functional somatic disorder, which means that patients imagine having a disease and invent their symptoms. So patients are prescribed exacerbating treatments such as effort reeducation. Their symptoms remain considered as mental disorders, and all this lead often to stigmatization and to the worsening of the disease. Due to this medical and institutional negligence, the situation is even more serious for children and young patients suffering from ME. The denial about the disease is maintained by leading clinicians occupying decision-making positions and resulting in human tragedies. Parents are charged of abuse and sick children are taken away from them. Movers especially can be charged of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which means that they consciously feign, exaggerate, or provoke repeated health problems on their own child. And the aim would be to attract attention and compassion through the child's illness. Of course, taking children away from their parents will not cure them from ME, but also tends towards their medical condition and often on a permanent way. Currently, Millions Missing France follows several abusive court cases. All are based on children and parent psychologization. On this topic, we work with, in partnership with patient associations on long COVID. Millions Missing France support children suffering from ME and including post-COVID ME, and the association COVID Long Enfant especially support children suffering from specific symptoms related to long COVID, myocarditis or lung damages, for instance. For reasons unknown to us, medical societies in France, in the broader sense, refuse to recognize the reality of long COVID and myalgic encephalomyelitis. Pediatricians especially are now facing pressure when caring long COVID patients. They are ordered to maintain effort-free education and to treat young patients as psychiatric cases. Those medical societies bear a great responsibility in aggravating patients' health conditions. So from our perspective, we support families, we work with lawyers in informing them about evidence-based medicine related to ME, and we alert the media on these medical and institutional abuses. Last November, the COVARS, which is the French committee in charge of monitoring and preventing health threats in the country, published a report on post-COVID syndrome. And this report, as the WHO did long before, clearly stipulates that post-infectious syndromes and related post-viral fatigue syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, and myalgic encephalomyelitis are not somatic disorders. This report has been a real source of hope for patients and clearly represents an advance in a country where the psychosomatic medicine remains very, very powerful. But unfortunately, in practice, nothing has changed. So ahead of the World ME Day 2024, we urge French health authorities to make clear, fair, and justified commitments on myalgic encephalomyelitis. We especially want them to stop psychologizing patients and to act on the COVAS recommendations in caring people suffering from post-infectious syndrome, including myalgic encephalomyelitis. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Len. That was a really important report on the work that you've been doing. And I think it's important to say that we see these issues globally, that lack of trust, that stigma is snowballing to have such an impact on families, particularly those with children with ME, but on adults with ME too. And yeah, we're really grateful for the work you're doing in France, and we hope that we can, continue to lend our support to that. Next up, we've got a report from South Africa from Sam and Lindeni, who are part of Melkusa there, on their Sick Pride event that happened last November. So I'll pass over to them, but I'm really excited for them to share a bit about the history of some of these movements and what they are doing in South Africa.
Sanbonani everyone. I am Lindeni Kabela from Melkusa, ME and Long COVID Unite South Africa.
And I am Sam Pierce. Together we are the South African representatives to the World ME Alliance.
I'm also a long COVID ambassador of Melkusa. I have been sick since 2020.
And I've had myalgic encephalomyelitis since 1992.
Around the world, people with energy limiting conditions such as ME and long COVID are suffering similar stigma and neglect to people living with HIV in the 80s and 90s.
Like the Treatment Action Campaign in South Africa in the early 2000s, we wanted to counter denial and disdain by promoting sick pride and solidarity.
So like Zaki Ahmad, we made a giant font t-shirt to proclaim our status.
May the 12th is autumn here in the Southern Hemisphere, so we chose Sunday the 12th of November 2023 to invite anyone suffering from energy limiting chronic illness to join us for the first ever Sick Pride.
We gathered at the beautiful Eden Garden in Cape Town.
Most energy impaired people struggle to stand up and breathe at the same time. So we can't parade, but we can lounge in style.
The theme was Pajama Picnic, and about 50 people joined us in the garden on this beautiful spring day.
And we all lay around on a lovely lawn in our favorite bedwear, being unashamedly sick in public.
We wanted to make our invisible illness visible.
Beloved Cape Town singer and ancestral healer Ernestine Dean opened the event with an Indigenous ceremony to welcome calm and connection.
Dr. Uvi Naidu from the Long COVID Clinic spoke about current research providing reasons for hope.
The event was emceed by Mlindeni in his pajamas, sitting down.
And Sam gave speech lying down.
Congratulations, I said, on surviving another year of this shit show. I am so proud of you for enduring these relentless, disabling symptoms. But even though our lives have been put on pause, let us celebrate. Persistence is resistance.
We knew that for many of us, it will be the only time we leave our homes this season, and the effort may cost us weeks to recover.
So we did not want it to be an occasion full of depressing speeches, but an opportunity to revel in sick joy.
If you would like to host a sick pride, choose a calm green place, book some gentle acoustic entertainment, and offer uplifting company.
Yes, all spoonies, carers, and allies are welcome, whether you are suffering from ME, long COVID, POTS, fibromyalgia, EDS, or any chronic condition where you have to pace yourself to survive.
Don't forget your sick t-shirt showing your pride.
Absolutely. And free Millie and Karen and Carla, Paula, Tibby and Chantel, and all the other very severe people out there, in honor of Sophia, Merin, Cara Jane, Maeve, Beth, Lauren, and especially this week, Una. We salute you.
Well, first of all, big congratulations on the event, and also thank you for doing it. For everyone who would like to follow Sick Pride on Facebook, you can look them up. Sick Pride, all capitals, and they will be there. Hoping to see more pajamas pictures. And yeah, I think we can't really emphasize the importance of these in-person events enough. I mean, for me personally, from my own experience, I remember when we first hosted we called it Million Missing Prague. And for me, because as I said, I'm not a patient, it was the first sort of opportunity to see the reactions of people when we said the words chronic fatigue syndrome. And just to explain to them how different the fatigue is, and that it's so different from the fatigue they're experiencing on a daily basis. And just like in person to explain it to them, I think it's very, very powerful. So thank you for that. And I'm sure that we will see more pictures and more events like that in the future. Now we'll move to the US, to Emily from Solve ME USA, where the situation is slightly better. The advocacy work there has long roots and goes way back. So yeah, Emily, it's yours.
Hello, everyone around the world, and greetings. It's so heartwarming to see all of the amazing work going around over the world, and I'm so pleased to share some of the work that's going on here in the United States. For those of you who are not familiar with me, hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Emily Taylor, and I am the president and CEO of Solve ME, also known as Solve ME CFS Initiative. We were founded in 1987, and I'm so honored to be recognizing this really important World ME Day together with my colleagues and co-founders of the World ME Alliance. The World ME Day is such a special and unique event, and it's really important to acknowledge that it comes to us from one of our long shoulders of giants that we stand on, Florence Nightingale, whose birthday is May 12th and was believed to be a sufferer from myalgic encephalomyelitis or chronic fatigue syndrome. I come to this community because of my mother, who got sick in 2008 and was eventually diagnosed with myalgic encephalomyelitis in 2012. I also come representing and standing proud with my brother, who is a long COVID patient since 2021. I want to acknowledge that this is such a crucial, unique time, a defining moment of our work, with the spotlight of long COVID illuminating ME/CFS and other infection-associated chronic conditions and illnesses. We come together in pride, in celebration of the fact that we have done so much great work, and yet simultaneously acknowledge that we have so much further to go. I take great hope in the culmination of so many scientific studies showing closer and closer every day to finding out an underlying biological mechanism to crack this disease, to hopefully get millions back to wellness. The evolution of our collaborative efforts around infection-associated chronic conditions and illnesses have been just groundbreaking, the groundswell of a larger community. And so while we celebrate our ME community, our ME/CFS community, we also acknowledge and welcome and hold hands in solidarity with the hundreds of other diseases that are similar, and yet those special illnesses that are so indistinguishable, and many of us suffer from, or many of the members of our community suffer from multiple of these illnesses. So research is getting closer, the international community is coming together, and I'm so proud of the work here at this World ME Alliance for helping facilitate and facilitate those collaborations. For those of you who do know me, you know that I come from the advocacy space. My background is in government affairs, and that is the world that I think can be really effective in helping us. Our Advocacy Week, an annual event we hold here in the United States for Solve ME, had over 450 folks register this year, with over 300 meetings with members of Congress. And every year we get closer and closer to real change and real action. We know from our lessons in advocacy, and we're learning in the scientific and research space, is that we collectively are stronger together. We know and have demonstrated success by this collaboration. Amazing projects like the World ME Alliance, like the Long COVID Alliance that Solve ME has co-founded. We work better together. And your action, large or small, your time, large or small, your dollars, large or small, your data, large or small, makes such a difference. And when we come together collectively as a community to share our resources, share our effectiveness, share our ideas, and collaborate, we excel. So in long and short, I really want to celebrate one of our key projects that sneak peek will hopefully be coming to the international stage soon, our Solve Together real world data platform. This investment from Solve ME includes a biobank and patient registry, integration with wearables, hopefully the future for AI integration, and amazing resources to accelerate research and accelerate cures. Your data is the foundation of what makes Solve Together work. So for those of you in the United States, you are free to participate, and soon, fingers crossed, coming to those in the international space soon, the Solve Together platform is a really exceptional mechanism to get research, to lower the cost of research and accelerate the findings of research. So I don't want to take too much time, because I want to acknowledge especially Sean and our member organizations that have done so much work. It is truly a pleasure to serve you as your co-chair. And I want to just express my gratitude to all of the advocates, to all the researchers, to all the scientists, to all the allies, and most importantly, to all of the patients who, so beautifully said by our previous friends in South Africa, persistence is resistance. And every day we work harder to finding an answer to getting you your life back. I just want to reaffirm my commitment to making sure that patients like my mother have their lives back as soon as possible. And I do truly believe that we can find an answer with the right resources and the right commitment in their lifetimes. I want to call for unity. I want to call for solidarity. I want to just celebrate everything we've done together and recognize that we have come so far from where we used to be, and yet we still have so much further to go. So together with you, I extend my arms, I extend my hands, I extend my virtually through this space. I embrace you all as my friends, my colleagues, my community, and I am just thrilled to, in this new role, and also with this amazing group of the World ME Alliance together, make a strong difference and forward progress, so that hopefully someday the only place you'll read about ME/CFS is in the history books. Thank you all so much for your time, and it truly is an honor to be here. I'll turn it back over to the rest of the group.
Thank you, Emily, so much for that. I think, yeah, there's a few things that really stood out in my mind from the past couple of speeches, but it's really important to understand the stories behind the individuals that are working in this field. And I think that's a real strength of ours as a World ME Alliance, that we've got so many people with lived experience involved. And, as has been said, our community is really our power. So we want to draw your attention again to our call to action and to get involved via our website, worldmeday.org, because you have a voice, you have the ability to make a difference and to be part of this movement that is growing. And we're seeing emails flying in from all over the world to us and to representatives involved in the World Health Organization for lots of different countries. And we hope that through that, we're able to start building connections with countries so that we can get them to become a global voice for ME, so that we are working, collaboratively across borders in the best way that we can. And yeah, there were some words at the end there that Emily mentioned: unity, solidarity, and celebrating our wins while recognizing that we have a way to go. So I think we do have to, acknowledge that we've got a hell of a long way to go, but also be proud of what we're doing and where we're going along the way and how we're doing that along the way. All right, next up, we've got Martin Hipper from Germany. He's part of an organization called Mirror Me Arts that is a growing organization. They were founded about a year and a bit ago now, I think. And he's going to talk about how high impact short films can assist with communications and advocacy. So he's called it a little ME/CFS symposium on emotional marketing. So thank you, Martin, for being with us today.
I'm Martin. I'm here representing Mirror Me Arts, an organization deeply committed into advancing understanding and support for myalgic encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS, a condition unfamiliar to many and misdiagnosed by even more. At Mirror Me Arts, we believe in the power of emotional marketing to bridge the gap between complex medical information and public awareness. ME/CFS is not just a medical condition, it profoundly impacts every aspect of a patient's life. Our challenge is to convey this impact, to bring to light the social and personal tragedies that accompany ME/CFS, lost friendships, broken relationships, and misdiagnoses that label physical suffering as psychological. Why emotional marketing? Because ME/CFS, with its invisible yet crushing burdens, is difficult to communicate through traditional information campaigns alone. People connect with what moves them, what they can feel and relate to. By producing high-quality, emotionally compelling short films, we don't just inform, we resonate, we touch hearts, and we open eyes. Our short films are meticulously crafted. They aren't just vehicles for correct health information. There are stories of real people, their struggles, and their resilience. This dual focus on emotional marketing and factual accuracy helps us reach a broader audience, beyond those already familiar with ME/CFS. These films are designed to be visually stunning and professionally made, ensuring they capture attention purely on their artistic merit. Moreover, these narratives address a societal misjudgment faced by ME/CFS patients. Our films highlight the dire consequences of being misunderstood by healthcare professionals and the personal isolation that follows. Through powerful storytelling, we counter these narratives with truth and compassion, fostering a more informed, empathetic public. Our ultimate goal: to enlighten, to generate funds for both our organization and ongoing research, and to build a political and economic awareness of ME/CFS and its repercussions. By articulating these issues in clear, accessible language, we aim to make a significant impact on behalf of the ME/CFS community. In conclusion, through emotional marketing and our dedication to high-quality film production, Mirror Arts is not just sharing information, we are sparking change. We are building understanding and support, one viewer at a time. Thank you for your attention and the opportunity to share our mission with you today.
Now we'll move to Italy, where Giada will tell us a little bit more about the book that translates into Not Just Fatigue and the conference they held last year. Giada?
Hello, it's great to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I am a president of the CFS ME Italian Association since 1999. Well, this year we truly wanted to be a global voice for ME/CFS, so we started a podcast and we were guests on a platform called WIPI, which is about female empowerment and diversity inclusion. And Marcella Maria Spirito, who is a psychology and psychotherapist who leads support groups for patients, and I recorded 10 episodes of this podcast, and we dedicated 5 episodes to the condition. So we spoke about the symptoms, post-exertional malaise, the name, and many other topics. And then we dedicated 5 episodes to interviews. 2 episodes were interviews to 2 physicians, Professor Tirelli and Professor Baritussio. One was the testimony of 2 patients. One was dedicated to caregivers, and one was a roundtable with 3 psychologists and psychotherapists who have support groups for patients and caregivers. During this podcast, we also read excerpts from the book Non Solo Fatica, I have it here, which means exactly not just fatigue, from myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome to long COVID. And this book was written by Professor Tirelli and me and was published at the beginning of last year. And it was a great tool for us because it allowed us to raise awareness through also interviews with papers, magazines, and television. And through the book, we managed to speak about ME/CFS. It's 150 questions and answers that we truly received during our years as workers and volunteers in this field. And if anyone is interested in translating it, feel free to contact us. We will be very happy to do that. Another important thing we did this year was to contact the dean of all Italian universities that teach medicine. And that means 35 public universities and 5 private universities. We did this along with another Italian association, which is the CFS ME Organizzazione di Volontariato. And basically, we asked them to teach ME/CFS, to insert it in the syllabus. So far, 4 of them replied to us. Two universities, Trieste and one in Milan, told us that they are already teaching it in their last year of studies or in the neurology specialization. Two others said Firenze and Bologna told us that they were going to forward our request to the head of departments. And our next step is just that, contacting the head of departments and contacting the faculty deans. Another important step we took was to reach forward and we had a meeting with the head of reference center for the preservation and utilization of donated postmortem bodies to see if they were willing to study ME/CFS, and they are. So if patients want to give their corpses, their bodies, once they are gone to help research, they can contact us. We send them the papers, the forms that can be written and sent to help in this aspect, hopefully as later as possible. And well, last but not least, thanks also to the initiative of one of our members, Giulia Zera, the town of Brescia decided to light up blue their fountain in Piazzale Repubblica on this upcoming May 12th, on our ME World Day. And so if you are there around 8 p.m. on that day, you will see the fountain light up. That's all from me and from Italy. We have unfortunately meager resources and few people. We are all volunteers, but we try to do the best we can, and we are always happy to have a helpful hand if anyone else wants to contact us and volunteer. Thank you all.
It's awesome to hear about all the work in Italy, about a book, about education. I think it's also incredible how much it resonates with me, and I'm sure with pretty much everyone on the panel as well. That conversations about educating doctors. Yeah, that's something that we've all tried. From my own personal experience, we had a meeting at the Czech Ministry of Health about a month ago, and they told us, yeah, you do realize that even if we recognize the diagnosis, it won't mean that the doctors will immediately know what ME/CFS is and how to treat it. We just told them that we would be absolutely thrilled if we could move on to that stage, if we could just move on to educating doctors, because yeah, we do know that it's a long way to go, but we can't wait to be there. At the same time, I'm sorry, Sean, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a chance in a minute. I also know how important the education of doctors and their sort of awareness of ME is for the patients, because the stigma the patients face just because time after time after time they come back home from the doctor's office, after hearing, yeah, there is nothing wrong with you according to the test results. It just fuels the stigma and sort of the disbelief they have to put up with every single day. It is not, and it must be devastating for the patients, but also then the reactions they receive from their beloved ones, from their family, from their friends, are also very difficult to deal with, because suddenly they all start thinking that it's just in the patient's head, which is not the case, as we all know. So it's amazing to see that in Italy there are steps being taken. Just for myself, sort of selfishly, I can't wait to be there at that point in the Czech Republic as well. And Sean, you wanted to add something?
Well, I just thought this was a good point in time to highlight our Global Voice for ME kind of series of stories that are available on our website, because I think, what we've heard here is those stories of people with ME are really important and powerful, and they're a resource that they're going to be up there for, a long time. They're available for anyone to use, but they're really powerful. There are stories there from, a young man called Max in Ukraine who is living in fear of being conscripted, a young woman called Nevra in Pakistan, who is living through very severe ME and is having a horrendous time. And, from Lindeni, who we've heard from today about his experience in South Africa as a Black man. And I think that those cultural differences do create unique situations for people. And yet the story of ME itself is so similar across the world. So they are there. Please do go read them, go hear from those voices of ME, learn about the kind of reality in different countries and those lived experiences. And then, yeah, also check out our custom poster maker. You can go online, add your photo to a poster and be part of, you know, a growing global voice for ME. Post it on social media on Sunday, May 12th, which is World ME Day. And yeah, become a global voice for ME, be part of the movement.
Nice. Yeah, and in the spirit of learning, education, we also know there is still so much we don't know about ME/CFS, and that's why research into ME/CFS is so important, which brings us to Portugal, to Joan, who can tell us a little bit more about the first international conference on clinical and scientific advances in ME that took place, and long COVID, I'm sorry, that took place 1 or 2 months ago. So Joan, it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. And I wanted to start off by thanking what I really believe is a beloved community in the World ME Alliance, because many of you contributed in many different ways to this conference. We were fortunate to have some present, Sonia and Sean, which is, Sonia was on video, but it was like if she was in the room, and Sean with us. Also, we had lovely videos that were prepared by Malcusa and Giada. Mirame Arts helped us with engaging conversations, Millions Missing Mexico, Millions Missing France, the Dutch ME Association, and all of the Brazilian colleagues as well. So it was really amazing because you were all there present. So I thought I would describe a little bit of the history behind this unlikely conference that was largely an organizing project that began several years ago, and then what have been some of the lessons learned and next steps. I mean, this conference was purely patient-led. It grew out of a bottom-up collective, non-affiliated, with no institutional linkages of any sort. And it really came out of the collective worries of people in our Facebook group, the Facebook support group, in our effort to try and educate people that were sick with this illness in Portugal and Brazil about what are some of the evidence-based treatments, what are some of the existing publications that we should be disseminating to providers, how do we approach interactions with clinicians, and how do we provide support amongst ourselves. So out of that, of course, came the identification of the sort of true champions, and the sense of were we to establish a conference, who would we want? You know, who are the credible clinicians that have, you know, superb interaction and believe in patient empowerment, and who are the researchers that are moving this forward? And we were fortunate to have them shape this dialogue with us. So it was patient-led with a bunch of pioneer clinicians and researchers. In Portugal, we had a harder time because there was virtually no knowledge of this illness. The civil sector responses also were very weak. There was still a predominance and widespread dissemination of CBT and graded exercise therapy among the more aware groups, and so we knocked on a lot of doors before someone was willing to be our institutional champion in Portugal, and that was the University of Lisbon's Institute for Evidence-Based Healthcare. And then slowly we brought on various actors. MIOS came on board, the National Portuguese Association for Fibromyalgia and ME/CFS. And then we were able to put together a very good scientific advisory committee, which was interesting because here again, it was patients educating these eminent deans and scientists in Portugal about an illness that they knew nothing about. But in the course of learning from and participating in, they began to develop some type of interest. So this is interesting because this event in Portugal has been described by many in the medical and scientific community as being, in the history of their sort of collective memories, the event of the highest quality seminar. in terms of the illustrious careers, the clinical experiences, the publications records, the pioneering work of all of these clinicians and researchers. Even though it was on a topic that very few people knew about. We had over 1,600 web participants from all over the world. We had a lot of people from Portugal as well, from their beds, from their rooms. We got more media focus on this issue as a result of the conference than we did in all the previous years combined on ME/CFS. So just that alone in a small country, that was pretty amazing. I mean, all of the media channels, television channels, specialized health, media publications. But there were also some real problems because even though we made a very big effort to reach out to Portuguese professionals, there was a very low participation rate. So despite this, despite the big names, despite the illustrious scientific committee, we had a lot of problems. We didn't fill the room. And so in many ways, this was a conference attended by people already in the know, those that were curious, and then the international allies. So clearly, going forward, as we move, we have to think about a far deeper organizing project so that we are able to reach the nurses, the physical therapists, and all of the physicians of the various specialties in family medicine going forward. So the good part now is that we have a high-level scientific committee that can help us. We've just started a Zoom series to which you're all invited. These are seminars that will be held via Zoom once a month. We're already booked for the whole year with clinicians. The first one's going to be Dr. Levine talking about how to do a proper clinical history. So this is our own patient-led medical echo series, and we're hoping that eventually it will be picked up and housed in a school of medicine. So we're offering it to whoever wants it, but with really outstanding clinicians. And then we are going to be working on a second conference in the north of Portugal, this time in Porto. We don't know when, probably 16 months from now. And so really building the organizing aspects and making sure this time that we have far stronger participation in the design from all of the various medical specialty groups. We produced a manifesto, the patients, that is, the non-affiliated patients, in January of 2023 that we shared with Sean and Sonia, in which the conference was only one of several activities that we wanted to do. One is the necessary, of course, these are parallel initiatives. The conference can't stand on its own. So the first thing was to try and develop a first epidemiological study of long COVID, and then long COVID morphing into ME. So that's actually starting this month. The protocol is being designed. It's going to be in the island of Madeira. And then we have a work group to begin to work on standardized diagnostic and treatment guidelines that would be hopefully co-produced with the Portuguese state so that they become useful to clinicians and are widely disseminated to both diagnose and treat and continue to upgrade clinical skills. So I think that's it. I think my time is up. But again, I want to thank everybody. Jada, your video was great. And Malcusa too, that was really lovely.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you so much for talking about that. And it was an absolute pleasure to be with you in person, to meet you, to meet others at the first international conference on clinical and scientific advances in ME, CFS and long COVID. I do well to remember that title. So yeah, I mean, yes, some of the things you talked about keeping knocking on doors, keeping pushing, and ultimately getting somewhere is a theme that we see again and again across the world. And that, you know, you've done incredible work to reach out to universities, to those deans, to scientists and more who are showing real interest in Portugal and across kind of Lusophone the world. So yeah, I love that you got that feedback of highest quality seminar, because that's absolutely what I felt when I was there as well. And I'm really excited to see what you're doing now with the Zoom webinar series, with the epidemiological research in Portugal that's come out of this conference and more. So yeah, you're doing stunning work, and it's a pleasure to be part of that and supporting that. Next up, we've got Sonia Chaudhry, CEO of Action for ME in the UK, and she's going to talk to us a bit about their parliamentary champions work and what's been happening with the UK government delivery plan for ME. So, Sonia, over to you.
Thank you, Sian. I'm delighted to be here. It's fantastic for us to have our first World ME Alliance event. As Sian said, I'm Chief Executive of the UK charity Action for ME, but I'm also a co-founder and co-chair of the World ME Alliance. And as you said, Peter, earlier on, it's exciting to see us expand and create the unity and solidarity and be a global voice for people with ME. A year after I joined the charity, my youngest son got a chest infection, never recovered. So I've also been a parent and have direct lived experience of a child with ME for the last 10.5 years. But I'm here today to talk to you about our journey with our policy advocacy work. And there's lots that I can tell you about, and actually it'd be very easy to talk about all the frustrations and challenges that we have. There are many, and I know these are shared by my colleagues across the globe. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the parliamentary champions. I'm going to start by saying that our policy work now and where we have got to is built on decades of work, and it has been slow, and at times, a lot of times, it's very frustrating. But it's all about building relationships and finding a way to have challenging conversations, to apply pressure, to be able to have influence. And sometimes we have to do that behind closed doors. That's frustrating for our supporting members and others because we're not always able to talk about what we're doing. And we have to give space to politicians and others to have conversations that aren't directly reported back, to ask questions to help them understand. But the thing that helps us shape everything we do is the lived experience, the stories that we hear day in, day out through the services that we provide at Action for ME that help shape what we do, but also have direct impact for the people that we're talking about. So our parliamentary champions were launched a few months ago, and we currently have 7 parliamentary champions and a few in the pipeline. And we've worked really hard to make sure that they are across the different political parties here in the UK. That's very important given we're in an election year, but also it helps get a range of voices and it helps build commitment. We launched a one-page manifesto which set out 3 things that we wanted to ask, including funding for research to accelerate it, because that is absolutely critical. And it's because of the conversations that we had with decision makers, parliamentarians, others in the community, so Stephen Holgate, patient advisory group, that led to the funding for the Decode ME study, which is a study here in the UK. I'm sure many of you will know about it. World's largest ME study. We've got data from over 26,000 people, DNA samples from around 17,000, 18,000 people that we are analysing at the moment. So the importance of having these conversations, using your experiences from within the community to help influence and inform politicians has been hugely important. And our parliamentary champions are there to help us keep a sustained focus on ME, to raise the profile, to raise the understanding, and to help us affect change as quickly as possible. One of our parliamentary champions is the ex-Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, and we've worked with him to help secure a Westminster Hall debate. So that was a parliamentary debate that took place a few weeks ago, and we heard lots of input from MPs and peers, people who sit in the Lords, sharing their stories from people in their constituencies, but also highlighting the importance of accelerating funding for research, ensuring appropriate services. But they also made a call on the government to release the cross-government delivery plan. A couple of years ago on World ME Day, Sajid Javid, in his Health Secretary role, launched the work that started that led to an interim government delivery plan, and that set out a range of actions that were required to deliver change for people with ME. But most importantly, all of that plan was developed with people with ME involved at every single stage, and that has been incredibly powerful. We heard today that the plan is due to be launched in autumn. They're still working through over 3,500 consultation responses, but that will hopefully lead to a strengthened delivery plan that we will get to see in autumn. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. To also, not to add more pressure on your shoulders, but I can also tell you that the fight you're fighting is also the fight you're fighting for patients in different countries. I can still remember it was 2.5 years ago when the British NICE, the National Institute for Healthcare Excellence, revealed basically published their new guidelines and how it was celebrated in the Czech ME community as well. So thank you for that. Again, it shows that if things happen successfully in countries, even abroad, it can mean a lot for patients worldwide. Sonia, I might ask you a bit of an unexpected question, but for the sort of advocacy work, we all know it. Very often, the first time you try to reach out to a politician and try to bring on a change, and Emily as well, the answer is no. They might not understand the need for it. What keeps you going? What keeps you basically come and knock on the door again after the first initial no?
Okay, so there are a few things. The first thing is I see the pain, the suffering, the travesty of justice that everybody with ME, as either themselves, carers, and even professionals working who want to do the right thing, supporting individuals, that I see that, I feel that, I live with it on a day-to-day basis. And that really drives a level of persistence. But also, I think over years of having done this work, not just in the ME field, you learn how to navigate those relationships. You have to be persistent, you have to be resilient, you have to take knockbacks, but you have to find ways of capturing people's interests. That's through the stories of people's lived experience. It's through finding things that they're interested in. All MPs will have constituents that have ME, talking to them about their experience, understanding what makes them tick. Gradually over time, you can start to build those relationships. And actually some relationships are easy because the door is open and they say, what can I do? I want to help. And that's fantastic too.
Emily, how about you? Is there anything you would like to add to that?
Absolutely. I would share my feeling with Sonia. It is the love and the passion and compassion and empathy that drives us. But I am used to not taking no for an answer, coming from the advocacy space and working on Capitol Hill in the United States. Only about 4% of bills that are introduced in Congress actually become law. So I'm accustomed and working in a system that no is you're getting 96% no's and only 4% yeses. So, and the way I look at it, and this is what was instilled into me by my mentors when I worked on Capitol Hill, is that even you set up your strategy so that even a no is still a yes in the right direction. So you expect the no, you work for the yes, but you expect the no and have that no still add value to pushing you forward. So to give a real example of this, we actually introduced the very first bill on ME/CFS ever in the United States, the first funding bill called the Understanding COVID Subsets and ME/CFS back in 2020. And this is when COVID was still very new, and we introduced this bill. We knew it wasn't going to succeed, but introducing the bill got us a whole network of members of Congress who said yes to that bill, who we got to work on for other projects and other things. The bill moved the conversation forward, and that bill is now precedent for us to do other things later. And we can say, look, this other bill was already introduced. So you take actions with the expectation to get the no, but you build that into your strategy so that no still moves you forward. And your no is, even when you get the no, it still is a step of progress.
Thank you for that. No is a difficult one to deal with, but yeah, thank you for sharing how you ladies deal with it. Sean, over to you.
Back over to me. Hello again. So yeah, I want to introduce a really important bit of work that's happening in Northern Ireland, and that is the Discover Me project. So they're an amazing group over in Northern Ireland called Hope for ME and Fibro Northern Ireland, and they've been doing loads of work with various universities there to build on medical education so that healthcare professionals of all descriptions get to learn about ME in their, you know, in their primary years of becoming healthcare professionals. So we're really impressed by everything that they've done, and we are really excited to share with you a sneak preview trailer of a film that will be coming live to all of your computers, devices, phones, and everywhere on Sunday. That has been, it was originally started as a virtual reality experience and has been used in multiple events so far, and is now going to be made available to the public on this Sunday, May 12th, World ME Day. So I'm thrilled to be able to share with you this sneak preview. Rachel, if you're ready for us, please go ahead and play that for us.
I was plunged into a world I never knew existed. Overnight, I went from living life to the full to being rendered bedbound. There was no effective treatment, there was no cure.
So that is set to be a really exciting video. I know I've had the privilege of seeing the whole thing. It's really powerful and moving. And I think I want to just take a moment here at this point in our live event to recognize those with the severest forms of ME, those who won't be able to watch this event, who are in dark rooms with no sound, no noise, those who are struggling to eat and in severe pain the whole time, because you know, I think it's hugely important that we recognize the range of severities and that we don't forget how truly awful this can be for some. So thank you for all of those who are persisting through such a state, and we love and respect you. And then I want to also say that there are some other great examples of medical education going on around the world. So a big shout out to ME Action and the Teach Me, Treat Me campaign for Millions Missing this year. You're doing awesome work, and it's great to see ME being taken into a load of different hospitals, medical education centers, and more across the world. So stunning work there. If you want to check out their work, head over to meaction.net and find out more about the Teach Me, Treat Me campaign. And I think that's heading towards a wrap from us. So I'll hand back over to Peter, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot from you, Sean, as well, and I would like to hear a bit more. I think it wouldn't be fair we, didn't give you the chance to shine. You've been with the Alliance for so long, and you've seen so many organizations come on board, and you've basically seen the Alliance grow. So what can people expect from the Alliance as we grow?
Okay, so expectations. I mean, firstly, look, we're going to continue to be a space where ME organizations can come together, can learn from one another, and can grow together. And I don't think it can be understated how important this collaborative cross-border approach is and will be as we move forwards. Secondly, I think with your help through our calls to actions and with the growing number of people that we have involved, we will keep pushing at the doors of power in the World Health Organization, in other international bodies. We see, building the grassroots is hugely important to us, but we want to see top-down change too, and we know what an impact that can have. So seemingly small steps from the World Health Organization have the potential to make a really meaningful difference to our member organizations' work in the ground in countries across the globe, and particularly in countries that have really limited recognition of ME at present. So as a kind of collaborative body, we can lend credibility to the work of others. I think we've already heard a bit about the impact that this has had from Joan in Portugal, from others. We know that kind of where organizations have been able to say, look, we are backed by the World ME Alliance. This brings a weight to the advocacy work that they are doing. And we've worked together to kind of challenge other issues that are taking place in countries too. Where one country is facing a particular challenge, we have been able to work collectively to make statements or other things so that we can help and support that country to improve things for people living there. So we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep ensuring that people with lived experience of ME are at the forefront of what we do. We're going to keep building a space for those who are severely ill to participate in our strategy setting and more. And that, like, this is always going to be a core value of who we are and what we do. So yeah, you can expect us to keep showing up, to keep pushing open doorways, keep building space together to improve all of our work and to keep growing with you alongside us. But yeah, Peter, you've been with the Alliance for around 18 months now, I think. So yeah, question back to you is, during that time, what's put the biggest smile on your face?
It's gonna be a bit yeah, funny, hopefully. No, I remember when we were starting our organization in Czech Republic about 4 years ago, and one of the first things we inevitably had to do was to look abroad. What are the things that other organizations are doing? What are they offering to their patients? And yeah, we looked at organizations like Action for ME. We looked at all the Millions Missing events. We looked at Emerge Australia and many others. And many of those organizations are member organizations of the World ME Alliance as well. And now it's sometimes I catch myself just smiling when I realized that we are in a virtual room together, and we are working together, and we are working together towards making a change and bringing a change for the ME community. So selfishly, that's made me happy and proud at different points whilst we work together.
Well, that is delightful to hear, and it is continues to be a pleasure to work with you too. So I'm really glad that we're doing this together and excited for what's to come in the future. So yeah, I want to say thank you to all our speakers. I want to call people back to our call to action this year for World ME Day, which is on our website and is an action asking you to get in touch with the person in your country who's in charge of working with the World Health Organization. And we've got a guide available for every country in the world. So please do head over to worldmeday.org, where you can find that. You'll also find a custom poster maker over there so that you can become a global voice for ME too. And we've got other resources available, like a fact sheet that I think is in 8 languages at the moment. And that's a real good, just kind of basic information about ME. That's high quality and hopefully fairly well designed as well. And then yeah, on Sunday we've got our own campaign film coming out, and that has been created through people with ME across the world and carers and allies sending in videos of themselves. So it's a really collective action, and so we are hugely excited to share that with you on Sunday, May 12th, as building a global voice for ME. Peter?
Yeah, well, finally, there is not much left to say. Remember to use the hashtags, hashtag World ME Day and hashtag Global Voice for ME. Once again, thank you for everyone who's participated, who's joined us today, who's watching this, who will watch it in the future as well. Yeah, so here you have the hashtags. You can also look up the World ME Alliance on Facebook, Twitter, or worldmealliance.org.
And yeah, if you want to find out more about what our members are up to, head over to worldmealliance.org, that link that is on your screens right now, and have a look through our member organizations and go check out their websites, their social media accounts, and know that there is a truly global voice for ME that is there backing people with ME everywhere and working to make things better. So thank you all for joining us today.